Is it true that Stu and you invented the sharpshooter, and did you have any other finishing moves in mind?
No, that's not true. The truth is that I learned the sharpshooter from Conan, WCW wrestler, who was in WWE at the time. Going back to the day after we lost the belts to the Nasty Boys, it was the very next day in with TV tapings in Las Vegas. And Vince and Patterson pulled me in the room. That was that same conversation about me getting the big push and all that. And then they want me to work with Kurt, and I refused. I said, I'm not doing it. I'll quit and go home before I wrestle Kurt. And somehow once we got that resolved, they said, we want you to come up with a new hold, some kind of a submission hold. And we both sat in the room kind of thinking up holds that were fresh, like the sleeper hold wasn't going to work. We named every kind of hold you could think of. And I think I suggested the scorpion move that Sting did, because I'd seen it in Japan. I wasn't necessarily stealing it from Sting, but I didn't know how to put it on either. I remember Vince goes, let's use that, the scorpion thing, and he goes, go figure out how to put it on and how it works. And so I remember after I walked out of the room, I went looking for somebody that I remember asking different wrestlers, I'm going, do you know how to put on the Scorpion Deathlock? And it's like, no, nobody. I kept going around different wrestlers, and finally the only wrestler who knew how to put it on was Conan. And him and I went in the showers, and we had to have a little room. We had to have a little space, guys, and that's how. And so he showed me how to put the sharpshooter or the Scorpion Deathlock on. And then I went back and I said, okay, I got it. And then we had to come up with a name for it. You got to come up with a name for it. And I go, why can't we just call it the Scorpion Deathlock? And it's like, no, we got to come up with something different. And we came up with different names. We both Vince, myself, and Pat Patterson trying to come up with a name for the move. And I believe it was me or it was Vince that came up with Sharpshooter, or maybe both kind of around the same time came up with Sharpshooter, and that's kind of how it evolved. And I always love that Conan always tells me, he goes, you're the only guy that ever told the truth about because people ask me and I tell the truth. Conan showed me in 2 minutes in the shower how to put a sharpshooter on. In the shower, boys. And it wasn't any kind of a big deal to me, but he just appreciated the fact that I didn't lie to you now and tell a big story about how I learned it from my dad in the basement, and then we perfected it or something like that. I mean, it's easy to make up a big story, but the truth is I learned from Conan.